Okay, we're going to work on Federalist number 17, part 4. The book I am going to show you is part of a series. It's called The Documentary History of the Ratification of the Constitution. It's 20-some volumes, and it's excellent. It will help you so much if you really want to delve deep, study the Constitution, the ratification in different states, what happened after the Constitution was written and was sent out to different states for the states to ratify it. See, this is the verb. To ratify is you legally say yes to something that is important, a document that's important to you, like this Constitution. Now the Constitution is going to be the fundamental law, the foundation that everything else is built on, okay? So if a legislature passes a law that does not agree with, goes against the fundamental law takes priority and cancels the other law. The other law becomes unconstitutional, becomes void. This is void. You will hear null and void. And this is the book I'm talking about. I don't want to show this middle of it because I don't want the publisher to think I'm violating copyright. But they're available online, so you can actually access them. And like this one is volume 3, and it covers state of Delaware, New Jersey, Georgia, and Connecticut. So in these books, you can see what was written in the papers in different states, what was said in the ratifying conventions by the delegates that had gone there. So they're very helpful, very important to look at. Okay, I'll continue with Federalist 17. The paragraph reads, the variety of more minute interests, minute means little details, which will necessarily fall under the superintendence of the local administration, and which will form so many rivulets of influence running through every part of the society, cannot be particularized without involving a detail too tedious and uninteresting to compensate for the instruction it might afford. Basically, he's again talking about all the things that local government, whether it's your city government, your county government, your state government does. There are so many things that they do. There's so many things that they need to look at in detail. So many minor things that they do that federal government will never be messing with those. Again, telling the people in different states that are seeing this Constitution for the first time that do not believe the misstatements or lies that the people that are against this Constitution will say. Don't buy it, don't accept it when they say, oh, the federal government is going to take all the rights and responsibilities that belong to the state government. Just don't buy that. Don't believe it. Okay, the next paragraph, there is one transcendent advantage belonging to the province of the state governments, which alone suffices to place the matter in a clear and satisfactory light. I mean the ordinary administration of criminal and civil justice. He says, wait, just look, there is one thing that is so important that the state governments do that federal government is not going to mess with it. So your state government is never going to lose that power. It's dealing with the civil and criminal justice issues. Whether it's somebody driving fast in the state highway, whether it is somebody breaking into your house, whether it's somebody doing all the things that you will do that the state courts, the city courts, those courts that are close to you have to take over and have the charge of. It's your local district attorney that will be working for you. Unless it is a federal law, it's always in the hands of the state. So he's constantly reminding the readers that federal government is not going to be involved with everything. It's mostly the state government that does all of these things. Then he continues, this of all others is the most powerful, most universal, most attractive source of popular obedience and attachment. Because government is there for your safety and security, it's the local and the state government that is going to first and foremost be the ones that would be trying to keep your life safe and secure. It's not the federal government. If somebody goes crazy in the city and starts hurting people, it's your local police, local sheriff, county sheriff, those people that are closest to you that will arrest him, capture him, hold him till he's taken to the court. And it's the local courts that will deal with it first, the local judges. So you're in contact mostly with your state. You're not in contact with federal government, he says. Then he continues, it is this which, being the immediate and visible guardian of life and property, having its benefits and its terrors in constant activity before the public eye, regulating all those interests and familiar concerns to which the sensibility of individuals is more immediately awake, contributes more than any other circumstance to impressing upon the minds of the people affection, esteem, and reverence towards the government. Just like we've been talking about, you have more reverence, more respect for the government that immediately comes to your help. So Publius says, because your local government, your state government comes to your help first, you always are closer to it, you're more attached to it, so you should not be scared that the federal government will be in the picture overwhelming the state government. Federal government will not get in the way of the state government as long as the state government does its job right, protects the people. This great cement of society, which will diffuse itself almost wholly through the channels of the particular governments. Again, particular governments means state and local governments. Independent of all other causes of influence, would ensure them so decided an empire over their respective citizens as to render them at all times a complete counterpoise and not unfrequently dangerous rivals to the power of the Union. So it says all this attachment that you find to your state and local government because you're in touch with them at all times it will be something that will block the federal government from going too far. So again, focus on the fact that you deal with the state governments at all time. So do not be afraid of the federal government. Federal government will only do what the enumerated powers are, what those powers are that are given to it in the Constitution. Not anything it wants to do, but only those powers that are given to it. Because as we go forward and we eventually talk about the Bill of Rights, you will notice that the Bill of Rights leaves even more rights in writing to the states and tells the federal government, you cannot bother people here, you cannot take their rights away, there are certain things that are guaranteed. People are going to get the right to jury trial, on and on and on. So we will visit those later on when we get to it.